Last time we left off with the dead city of Hiroshima, showing the destruction of Hiroshima. We're now on to They Dropped the Atomic Bomb, August 1945. The Men Who Bombed Hiroshima. Only 3 men aboard the B-29 that atom-bombed Hiroshima knew the nature of their world-shaking cargo. They were Navy Captain William S. Parsons, right there, an ordnance expert, Major Thompson W. Farabee, that guy right there, and the bombardier who dropped the bomb, Colonel Paul Tibbets, Jr., who piloted the superfortress to its ill-fated target. There were several alternative targets in the area around Hiroshima, but weather conditions favored the city of Hiroshima. Yeah, so I actually talked about this in yesterday's video. I couldn't remember which of the cities, if it was Nagasaki or if it was Hiroshima, but it seems it was Hiroshima. Yeah, there was a few targets that they decided on, and they decided this was the one, weather permitted. And also the military permitted it as well. They were fighting tooth and nail just because they wanted to firebomb because it was cheaper. And realistically, maybe a little bit more effective, which is kind of scary to think. But yeah, these guys are obviously pretty well known. Mostly Tibbets, I would say. Out of everyone, he's probably the most well known of the individuals. The Manhattan Project, August 1945, birthplace of atomic bomb. Work on the atomic bomb was a joint effort of British, Canadian, and American scientists and workers, but America was the site of the $2 billion project to harness atomic energy. The work was done in 3 hidden cities by 100,000 workers. 2 of the plants, one at Oak Ridge, Tennessee, this one here, and another at Richland, Washington, are pictured here. Yeah, this is one of the biggest secrets. I mean, they talked about it actually in previously in the book. It's one of the biggest secrets. Which is kind of crazy to think, because they had a lot of people working on this, and they kept a tight lid on this. They did not want anyone finding out about it. People knew, of course, but they did not want them to know how far they had gotten, what they had achieved, anything like that. And they basically hide these people in plain sight somewhat, because where's the best thing to hide something? In plain sight. It works pretty effectively. If I can turn this. The brains behind the atomic bomb. August 1945. Cooperative achievement. The epochal harnessing of atomic energy was the result of a gigantic pooling of effort and brains. Simply stated, the terrific force of the atomic or cosmic bomb was achieved by the splitting of the atom in a rare form of uranium and the setting up of a chain reaction. Many scientists contributed to the success of the Manhattan Project. Those scientists shown in the top picture are, left to right, Sir James Chadwick of Great Britain, Major General Leslie R. Groves, in charge of the project, Dr. Richard C. Tolman of Office of Scientific Research and Development, Washington, D.C., and Dr. H.D. Smith, project consultant from Princeton, New Jersey. The bottom picture shows Professor Ernest Orlando Lawrence at the panel of cyclotron at University of California. Many others contributed to the success of the project. Obviously, these are some of the more prominent figures, but of course, there are people that are not mentioned here that did have a part to play. Obviously, people always talk about Einstein. He didn't necessarily have as much of a part to play, mostly just wrote a letter, but he did have some part in this. Not a big part, but a part. And obviously the other one is Oppenheimer. I want to say J. Edgar Oppenheimer, but I don't think that's correct. But Oppenheimer. Obviously, there's a movie made about him and the more like the construction of the atomic bomb. But yeah, he obviously played a very, very big part in this whole thing. Um, might be a slight reason as to why they didn't mention him here, but definitely a big, big intelligent guy there. The second atomic bomb falls on Nagasaki. August 9th, 1945. Lightning strikes again. A pillar of boiling smoke zooms through the clouds and mushrooms 20,000 feet above Nagasaki, second Japanese city to feel the terrible power of the atomic bomb. This time, an improved version which authorities claimed would make the first bomb obsolete. Yeah, these bombs, I mean, just look at the destruction of that. Like, we can't even imagine. These are the only time they're ever used on civilians. And just look at the sheer magnitude of the destruction. You really can't undersell how terrifying these would have been. And this is actually all we had, too, at the time. We only had two of these things. The Japanese were informed by a captured pilot that we had, like, a lot of these. And we didn't. But it's probably one of the reasons they surrendered. They thought we had a ton of these things, but at most we would have had a third one pretty quickly, but that was really about it. Devastated Nagasaki. Prelude to Peace. August 1945. The final blow. 2 days after Nagasaki was leveled by the second atomic bomb, Japan offered to surrender. The complete desolation of the port city is shown here as Jap workers carry away debris. Tens of thousands of people were killed, wounded, and made homeless. Japanese reports that deadly radioactivity continued long after explosion were discredited by Allied authorities. It's probably a bit of both. The bombs probably did have a level of radioactivity. These bombs are a little bit more of a dirty bombs. They're not. They're not really, but they are more dirty than like future nuclear weapons, atomic weapons. Um, but they are still pretty radioactive. So you could say that there was probably a bit of radioactivity that lasted for a bit. Um, I doubt those reports from the Japanese are really all that inaccurate, as these Allied authorities claim. But yeah, Japan will surrender very quickly after this. Obviously, there is a debate nowadays a lot of times that it was because the Soviets attacked, and you could say maybe that had some part to play. I'm sure, of course. But realistically, it is the idea of the atomic bomb. Um, they were under the impression we had a lot of these things. Some of their scientists didn't think that, but intelligence told them that they did, even if it was faulty intelligence. And so, really, like, I mean, I would surrender, just saying. Russia goes to war against Japan. August 9th, 1945. Strike at Manchuria. The long-awaited entry of Russia into the war against Japan came at 12:01 8 o'clock on the morning of August 9th. Soviet troops began hostilities along Manchuria's eastern front, with Siberia just 9 minutes after the declaration of war. The Red Army, operating on a wide front, quickly broke through heavy uh, ferroconcrete fortifications like the one in the top picture and made gains up to 14 miles. It crossed the Amur and Ussuri rivers and captured many towns, including Hylar in the bottom picture. The attack came just 4 days after the first atomic bomb fell upon Hiroshima, and when Japan was already buckling on the brink of surrender. Yeah, like I just said, this definitely had some part to play, of course. It's like everything that could go wrong just went wrong. The Americans dropped these super weapons that wipe out cities in one bomb. Um, the Russians, who they have not wanted to face, the Soviets. The Soviets, they did not want to face. They didn't want to face the Soviets at all. They were very scared of them. They also joined the war. Like, if you're Japan, you're just looking at this and going, this is an unwinnable situation. Japan offers to surrender. August 10th, 1945. Tokyo radio flashes news. A Japanese offered to accept the Potsdam Ultimatum with the proviso that the emperor remain on his throne was flashed to the world by Domi, Japanese radio service. On August 10th, a tense world was kept waiting until August 14th, when the Japanese surrender offer was officially accepted by Washington. Between these dates, rumors and counter-rumors kept the world agog. This is obviously a big deal. This is the end of the war. There's a few days still, but it's the end of the war. Japan has finally accepted surrender. Now, there's going to be a few things you have to clean up here and there, but this is it. Finally, what everyone's waiting for, and you can tell some of these guys are just definitely happy. Obviously, this is they got these guys like, hey guys, look at the camera, like, oh, anyway. But you have to imagine they were very, very happy. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you have any ways you can improve these videos, leave a comment down below. I read all your comments. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.